Excuse me? Can you please change your microphone?
Sure.
Thank you.
So you told them there were 5 spots, right? Or like, just imagine if this were an ad, right? The whole point is you have to give them a reason, right? So that's why emails like this, it's very ego. So you want to always switch it. So again, you're always appealing to the benefit side first. You have to remember, why is it that people came to you? They came to you because either, again, they have a pain or desire. They want a better life. They want a better way to learn, right? So, and there's a framework to this. Which your framework isn't bad, because the first thing you have to do, like anything else, like an ad, is you have to get their attention. You have to get their attention. So something like this, I would do more like, change your life in 5 days. Something like that, right? Something that gets your attention. As opposed to just like, not to say that 5 spots left isn't good, but there has to be like a reason. Get their attention first, right? And it could just be 5 spots, but what you're missing here is you have no pain, you have no desire. That's what you're missing. Because the ultimate framework for an email is very simple, okay? You grab their attention, which, again, you can say 5 spots, but then you have to identify the pain point. Identify the pain point. It's like, improve your life, whatever it is, right? Remember, you know why people came to you. What are some of the reasons why?
Improve your presentations, for example.
Yeah, but why improve your presentation? It's not, you're talking more about you're talking about the feature. Again, you're talking feature. When you talk to people, it's not a feature. You're talking to people like you're talking to me. It's, why do I want to learn it in a different way? Why? I want to learn in a different way. Why? Because we all learn differently, right? Some people, I'm visual. I'm a visual learner. You can explain to me, you can explain things to me, but I have to see things, right? So you have to show the benefit of that, not just the feature of saying, this is what we have for you. Right? Because you understand your people. Why is it people came to you? Why did they come to you? Besides wanting to learn it different, what are the reasons why?
I think they are looking for something different. They're looking for some different approach on education. They want to be like better qualified in their jobs.
But that's it, because they want a better life, right? That's the reason. That's what you need to focus on, right? You want to improve your quality of life. That's what you're trying to hook on, right? That's what you need to find from people, is what is that? And you already know that. If you're running ads, you know your people in terms of they want a better life, right?
Yeah, I have a doubt, because I think it's different, just my perspective. From ads, I'm trying to reach anyone. But here I'm talking with my audience. So they already know the courses, they already know like everything what's happening. So is the same approach?
Always, listen, sales is sales, okay? This is it. What you're basically trying to do here is, email, remember, is just a channel. It's just a marketing channel to get a user back to wherever it is you're trying to sell them, back to your landing page, right? That's the point. But the point is, you still need to understand your audiences, why they're coming to you. Like, I understand when you do an ad, you're trying to go broad because you're trying to see who you can attract. But this is the thing, is every single email list has at least 5 different type of people, which means when I'm coming into this course, you and I are coming in for different reasons. Everyone is coming for different reasons. Like I said, like, maybe I'm coming to, again, I want to become some sort of vice president, right? I'm not an entrepreneur, but I want to become, a C-level type executive, right? Whereas you are an entrepreneur, maybe you're a young entrepreneur, you're 25, first thing, whatever, this is your first time entrepreneur, and you want to learn, right? So your pain and desire is going to be very different. I'm on a timeline, right? So the way you're going to message me is going to be very different, as opposed to you messaging a young 25 entrepreneur that all he wants to do is party and do whatever, right? It's like, yeah, get the lifestyle of your dreams. As opposed to me, it's improve your life, get to become an executive faster, whatever it is, right? That angle, that feature, that's what you really, really want to focus on. So it really comes down to understanding who it is that you're speaking to first, because you cannot speak to everyone on your list with the same message. So that's why you have to really, really understand who it is, right? Who your people are, And you already have this information. You already know. Because you have the demographic information, you have the psychographic. It's just a matter of painting that story, right? And you can easily do that even just by like creating a survey. Just like sending a simple survey when people sign up, say, listen, I really want to get to know, like, obviously you came here for a reason. Tell us why so we can help you more. And you can ask them questions that will give you the information you need to be able to create really, really simple emails, because that's the most critical thing, is understanding your audiences first. If you don't understand who you're speaking to, how are you going to make, how are you going to craft a message? It's much more helpful if you know who I am and what my problem is. If I come to you and say, well, my problem is this, right? I'm a visual learner, but there's no one out there who can teach visually. You know what I'm saying? Then you know what my pain point is.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the tough thing, because, for example, we have courses about how to become a professional poker player, to design, and how to surf. Okay. So my audience is totally different. I mean, I'm talking with the young girl that wanna learn more about like fashion, and I'm talking about the guy that is 45 or 60 and he just wants to live his life playing poker. So the message that I will send to the girl is totally different than the message not the message is different, but if I want to reach the guy and the girl, I'm gonna have to adapt the message, right?
No, see, that's the thing is, you will never be able to make everyone happy in your list, okay, when you send it, okay? Now, you can try to segment, right? You can definitely try to segment based on, gender or interest or whatever it is, right? Yeah. But the whole point is you're always marketing to the pain and desire, right? So when you're making that message, it's, again, you only can speak to one person at a time.
So I have to find some general pain. Because your pain is different than my pain,
yeah,
right?
Well, yeah, but it's not a general pain. A pain is a pain, right? A pain is a pain. Like, like for me, one of my pain points could be safety, whatever it is, right?
Yes.
Whatever it is. I want to feel more safe and secure in my career, whatever it could be, right? Mm. So that's an angle. All I'm saying is, you're never going to be able to find the exact one, right? But the whole point is to be able to angle a pain point so that someone will be able to relate to it. So if you're speaking to that 24-year-old, right, then you're going to angle that pain point around her. And you're only going to speak to one person. Now, you could do that either, so let's just say you have, like, you can do like a qualifying email. Let's just give me an example of, okay, so you have a poker course, right? You can do sometimes like a qualifying email to be like, something like, do you love poker or whatever, right? And then people will say, yes, I like poker. No, I don't. Or maybe you can say, do you want a career in poker? Whatever it is, right? The point is you want to gauge someone's interest, right? Because you want to know who's really interested in poker. I don't want to send an email about poker to an entire list, right? You don't want to do that. So what we do is we'll do a qualifying email. Very simple, all right? Do you love poker? Yes, no. Right? Yeah. And the important part is remember, right? You have to use the ABEs of email, which is you have to always engage. Because right now, you don't really have a very clear engagement point in here, right? Because number one, you're not really promoting any desire. Like, you're not hitting my pain point. Mm-hmm. There's no pain point right now. All you're telling me is 5 days. Okay, what do I care? Right?
Rush.
Huh?
Time.
Yeah, but again, you're having to, what does this mean to me? Okay, yeah. 5 days, but what does that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does this, like, okay, am I going to save money? But what's the point, right? Like, I signed up for a reason. Yeah. But that's what you're missing, is you don't still maybe fully understand why people sign up. So what I would always suggest doing with people first is when people sign up to your list is create a very short, like, multiple choice or questionnaire, like, whatever it is, like 8-10 questions. And as I mentioned, again, the angle that you're going to use is, you came here for a reason, let me help you, right? It's always, let me help you. Remember, it's always benefit to the user. Sure. So create a very simple survey to be able to gauge your users better. And you can be like, well, what is it that you're here for? Are you here to improve the life? Are you here to improve the life of your kids? Are you here to improve your life? What do you want, right? Just very, very simple, whatever it is. And create 10 questions around that. This way you can start pinpointing and say, okay, now when we create our emails, we're going to go after, we know that we're talking to sassy Sally, who is, 24, she's independent, never been married. Her dream is just to, live the life of her dreams, of just, I don't know, fancy clothes and whatever, right? You're talking to her. So you know that what's going to appeal to her in terms of the fancy cars and stuff like that. Fancy cars and, and jewelry doesn't appeal to me. That's not the reason why I want to improve. So that's going to help you really understand your users a lot better. But with this, like I said, you have the basics in terms of, yes, you get their attention, right? So you did a good job up here. However, let's see if it's okay. So one big mistake, right? If this were, and remember, imagine if this were an ad, okay? Remember, the same rules apply. Okay. I just clicked. But what did it do? It's an image. Would you ever do this on a website? Would you ever put a banner on a website that went nowhere? There you go. So the same rules, and I see this a lot, guys, it's email, but the same rules that you see about the web in terms of everything above the fold is the most critical and prime real estate. It's prime real estate. If you are taking up prime real estate with a big banner that has no call to action, that's not even hyperlinked, it's a waste. You just wasted. Even if they were interested, oh, it didn't go anywhere. Okay, move on, right? Type of deal. So remember, that header is prime real estate. Everything above the fold is prime real estate, okay? So that's a mistake, okay? Fix that, all right? And same deal too, this is prime real estate, so always pay attention that this is gonna be important because this is what people see first. So always make sure that attention-grabbing headline is very, very key, right? The other thing aesthetically you wanna make sure is, remember, email is very different. The same rules apply in terms of framework in terms of the above the fold, but the most important thing with email is that email is more personal than going on the web. When you're in your email account, you're looking at maybe some work stuff, right? This is distracting. If you open up this email, it's distracting, right? And that's the thing is, you want to make things really, really clear because the last thing you ever want to do is have me open this email and it just be too hard to just, consume. Just imagine you wake up on a, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, it's 7 a.m. and you see something like this. It's just it's assaulting almost, you know what I'm saying? You really, really want to keep it very neutral, very clean. This is something that you have to play around with though. I'm just giving you basic feedback in terms of just keep it focused, keep it clean. The GIFs are good, do not get me wrong. GIFs are very, very good. They can be very, very powerful, but just be very careful in terms of the colors and things like that. The dark is gonna be hard in order to read, right? So you wanna be very, very cautious of that. You wanna be very, very aware of that, okay? And also the same deal is you wanna also be very aware of the different fonts and everything. You really want to keep it clean because at the end of the day, what do you want people to do?
Subscribe, pay.
You want them to buy, right? So again, right, it's make it very clear as to what it is you want them to do, right? And your intention is good. I like the gifts, those are good, but what you're really missing in here is that pain point. I would remove this calendar stuff. I wouldn't do that. That's taking up space. You said 5 days. 5 days is good enough. If you had a countdown, that would be good. A countdown GIF or whatever it is, that would be good as well. But the point is you have a bunch of stuff in here that's just it's not relevant. So what you always want to do is remember, you have the attention, get their attention. You have that, you identify the pain and desire for the user, right? And then you're basically going to go, typically what you want to do also is a yes confirmation statement all the time. And what I mean by that is just getting someone to say yes. It's do you want to improve your life in 5 days? Yes, I want to do that. Any question you ever ask in an email always has to be a yes question. Don't ever, if you ask a question in email and it's a no, and it's not a guaranteed yes, you don't ask it. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's like, well, who doesn't want to improve their life in 5 days, right? That's a guaranteed yes. Guaranteed. So this is why when you're asking that yes confirmation statement, go broad in terms of, okay, you know, as I said, right? Improve your life type of deal. So that's the thing is, you want to go with the headline, you want to go with the attention, the pain and desire, get that yes confirmation statement, and have a very, very clear call to action in terms of improve your life, like an action verb. Like you need that as opposed to 5 days, right? Just sign up. Like sign up is not, it's not enough, right? Like give me a reason to want to actually click, okay? But that's basically it. Like in terms of like social media stuff, like remember, you want to keep these emails very focused. So the last thing you ever want to do is distract them with anything else. Get rid of any social media stuff. Like you'll notice if you look at your reports, these links at the bottom, they don't click. Don't put it. Again, exactly. Less in email is better all the time, all right? Because again, it's focused. As long as the message is clear. Like you can do a 1-sentence email. Because again, the objective is to get the user to go, because you want them to sign up, you want them to go to your page. Now, if you send 1,000 clicks to your landing page and you don't get any conversions, that's not an email problem. That's a landing page problem. So that's another thing that you guys have to be really aware of, because a lot of people will say, well, the email made sales. No, your email doesn't make sales. You know, your email could facilitate as a kind of a squeeze page to help. You know how sometimes, even from an email, you'll send them maybe to an advertorial, right? Like the benefits or a case study. You'd be like, hey, look at a case study that, you know, someone who took this course last year, look at the success he had. This could be you next year. Do you want to do this? Then guess what? You have 2 days. You have 2 days left to take advantage of this amazing offer. You see what I'm saying? So that's why in the email, like, just remember, just keep it to the basics in terms of copy. That's why it's like you don't need a copywriter. You just need the basic frameworks of getting their attention, identify your user, whoever you're talking to, right? Now, anytime you can populate a person's name, anything that's identifiable to a user, you want to put that in an email. And I don't see that here, right?
No, there's not.
There is none, right? So you always want to make sure that. So guys, that's another thing too, is anytime you have a first name or anything like that, even their dog, whatever it is, put it in there. So again, you're creating that connection with that user. Okay? So that will really, really help. That's basically it. But like I said, and afterwards what you want to do is you always want to start split testing different things. Like here you don't have buttons. You're using images but no buttons. Yeah. So you always want to split test. And you're using MailChimp, so you can split test. I think you can split test the variations, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So always do that. Like the last thing you ever want to do is put all your eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. Like you're using email. Like how big is your list?
100,000.
That's a lot, okay? So you can easily split test, right? So you, again, like, would you rather put all your eggs in one basket with this one email campaign and send it to 100,000 people? Or would you rather test variations of it, send it to segments of 5,000, see which one wins, and then when you have your winner, it's the same deal with an ad, right?
Yeah, sure.
You do the exact same thing, right?
Perfect.
Are you doing that with your emails now, or are you just sending out everything?
No, it depends. Depends what we wanna enunciate. For example, this one is more. This course is for everyone, like how to create presentation, storytelling. So you don't have to segment it. Like, everyone can improve their presentations, right?
Of course.
And speak in public.
Exactly. Well, what's the benefit of improving your presentations? You have more confidence, right? Yeah. You improve, right? Like, that's it. So that's a major pain point, right? Get more confidence. You know, you're afraid of speaking in front of people. Yeah, I'm afraid of speaking in front of people, right? Do you want to improve your confidence and be able to command a room and have everyone come after you after a speech and want to talk to you? Like, of course, who doesn't want that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you need to create. You need to create that fantasy in their heads. You know?
Cool. Awesome.
Is that more helpful?
Awesome. Thank you.
Is that good?
Thanks so much.
Okay, good. So make those changes.
I will.
Make
I
those changes. I want to see those changes, and you know what to do in terms of the.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. You want me to log out?
Yeah, log out. Does anyone else have an example or anything they want to show me? Because guys, this is the time to show me, because I can tell you exactly what the problem is.
Come
Nope.
on, guys. Don't
This
be
is-
afraid. Come on.
You just got a $2,000 consultation for free.
Yes, thank you so much.
Not for free, but still.
Where I log out?
It should be. It's in Portuguese. I can't.
No.
Does anyone have any questions about what we just went through? Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So first things first is the email lists that we have. For example, I did a few launches, I did a few, a bunch of things, okay? And it works. I do have quite good conversions because what I focus on is building relationships with the email list. I treat them as my friends. And at some point, I have literally people are like, well, Marwan, my name is Marwan, by the way. They're like, well, when are you going to sell something? I'm like, dude, you've got to wait and things like this. They're like, okay, I'm going to give you my credit card stuff. And then when you launch the product, I want to be, get the early bird price and things like this. So I built quite good relationship with them. But I'm not satisfied with the conversion rates I have. I'm not satisfied with the numbers I have. For example, last time we did an infomercial product launch. I did this for John Summers, if you know him, an American entrepreneur. So this launch, we had a quite small email list. We had about 3,000, not even 3,000 people. We have 2,000 something. And the launch we did, he didn't really do anything. He was like, okay, I'm going to give you my brand. I'm going to give you my face. You do everything. You got to make me money. I was like, okay, no problem. So I did the landing pages, I did the funnels, I did everything, the email list, the ad copies, every single thing. I give him even the scripts to say in videos, because what I focus on in emails is making texts, making the relationship personal, and then not to sell them something, to lead them to the landing page. And the landing page, we have videos. These videos, we give them information and stuff like these, and it keeps leading them video after video, so they can finally, get the upsell, get the stuff they will buy in the 4th day or the 5th day or whatever the day it is. Now the numbers I don't really like them, because we've got about 5% conversion rates on the email list. So
as I mentioned, right? When it comes to email, you have to know what you're dealing with and what email's place is in the online world. Now, you've said already a couple of times that you're not getting the conversions, okay? You're not satisfied with now, when you mean conversions, you mean you're not satisfied with the number of sales you're getting.
Exactly.
But what I want to know is, what are your email results? Because right now, the sales have nothing to do with email. Because email is it's a display medium, right? Yeah. It's almost like if you have an ad, right? If you have an ad and there's nothing deceptive about your ad, you're saying, okay, get this free phone. It's 100% free, okay? 1,000 people click on that ad, okay? You get 1,000 clicks, but you get 0 sales. Yeah. Where's the problem?
Well, it's not really the ad.
It's not the ad, it's the landing page,
Yeah,
right?
it's the landing page.
So without you telling me the email results,
Oh yeah, I got you.
I can't.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm telling you?
Yeah. Because the way I see it, okay, thank you. The way I see it is, if we have more traffic going through the email list, then we're gonna have more people hitting the landing page, which means more people buying. Okay, we're good. The emails, now we've got about, let's say, the first email was like 60-something open rates. The click-through were like 40-something, but it took like 2 weeks to reach 40% open rate.
Okay. But what about the click-through rate?
Yeah, that's it. I said the 60% are open rates. The click-through were 40%. Yeah. People who opened the email and click through the link and watch the video.
Okay, which ESP are you using?
ESP, you mean autoresponder? I mean, at first we were using GitDrip, but we stopped using that because I didn't really, I didn't find it quite flexible with the stuff we want to do, because we do have quite a few things. We give them automatic response if they send us some kind of keyword, whitelist. Because the thing I focused on in the emails is having our email list put us on whitelist. So we reach the inbox. That's the first thing I ever do. Okay. You see? So that's what I say. I use, right now we use ActiveCampaign.
Okay, so you use ActiveCampaign. Okay, so ActiveCampaign, at least I know they don't do click to open rates. So how many emails are in that sequence?
As I said, we have about 3,000.
No. How many email in that automation? Do you have like a flow,
Yeah,
or
we have automations.
You have an
and
automation.
each automation have its stat,
Okay, so
and you have many emails, and the automation is quite different. You have the automations that leads them through other segmentations, and so on it goes.
Okay.
So for the emails, precisely the emails, email number 1, it was like 60% open rates,
Yep.
40% click through. The second email were a little bit less, yes,
course.
and
That's
after the second, the last 2 emails, it was quite the same. It was like 40% open rates and 20-something click through.
okay. All right. So, but again, you're not happy with the sales. You're not happy with the conversions.
Yeah, it's not really about the landing pages and stuff. I want more people to open. I want to make it 80% if possible. You see?
Okay. Well, so you want to make it 80%. Okay. So here's the deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting 80%. Everyone would love 80%.
Yeah,
Everyone would love.
Because I did have it at some point.
Yes.
On the first email I sent people and they subscribed.
Yes, but that's always the case. You're never, listen, this is why the first email you send, you're always going to get a higher percentage, because it's the first time you knock on Gmail and Hotmail and Yahoo's door.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, these are like your neighbors, right? You move into a new street, you go knock on your neighbor's door, everyone's excited to see you, they open up the door, they're like, oh wow, come in, party. Then they get to know you and they're like, I don't know if I like this guy, right? All right, then you come knocking the next day, they're like, let's not open the door, right? Yeah. Isn't that cool, right? And the next guy you go to, he's like, oh yeah, I like that guy, oh, you come in, right? Again, it's reputation that you're dealing with, right? So, yes, we all want those great numbers, but you have to understand too that the stats go with your volume too. This is why, like, when people come to me, they're like, oh, Gab, my open rate, is dropping from used to be 50%, now it's 40%. Well, why are you talking about just open rates? Like, you're only giving me half the story. Like, what about your click-through rates are what matters, right? And an open rate doesn't tell me anything. Like, if you tell me an open rate, like...
Just you have a good headline, a good title. That's what about the open
Well,
rates.
no. Everything is all based on your deliverability, is your ability to actually hit the inbox, right? Because no one's ever going to hit the inbox at 100%. There's no way. It's impossible. So you're saying 80%. You may have had 80% maybe when your list was at 1,000, because it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Remember, the higher, the more.
Because the way we send them to the email list is quite different than a lot of people. We don't really collect leads and things like this. What we do is we have the YouTube channel for John.
Yep.
Then we give them a test. And
Yep.
we're like, okay, this is the test. You take it. It's a test about how good you are in life.
Yeah.
Okay. You go to the test, and then at the end of the test, you're like, okay, results will
Yeah.
be in your inbox, in
That's
your email.
correct.
Check your spam, check your stuff.
That's
where we
great.
focus on leading them to put us in the whitelist.
Yeah.
And we usually have like 3% unsubscribing rates from
That's
3%, sometimes 4% depending on the month.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we have like 80% open rates, and
Yes.
I'm quite happy with. I'm quite happy with it. And
Yes.
people put us in the whitelist, which makes us hit their inbox, and it is quite
So-
nice.
No, what you've done is extremely good. The first thing I always teach people is, remember, if you want to grow your email list, if your email list is the one that's making you money, the first thing you want to do all the time is condition your users. The first thing you learn in marketing, forget about email.
them, yeah.
You brainwash them. You tell.
That's what we do.
That's what you have to do. So you're doing a great job. So that's what we actually do, is condition, engage, reward. Condition. So that's what you're doing, right? Is you're telling people, okay, you want this, okay, go to your email. That's what we do too. It's like, if you come to me, it's like, go to your email. You want this, go to your email. You want, go to your email. So people know, okay, I gotta go to my email first. And inside the email, then it's like, okay, click here to go there. You're always like commanding them because again, you always have to have that engagement point. So what you did there is great, right? It's absolutely great that you condition them to do that. Now, without seeing your other emails and without knowing your results, I can't kind of tell you. But if you're telling me like, yeah, you want those more people that are, you know, the people that are always opening, then what you need to do is, do you know your email list breakdown? How much is Gmail? How much is AOL? Like, do you know? Your list makeup.
Yeah, I know, but I don't really have the stats right now, but the majority are Gmail. If I remember correctly, it was like 60-something% Gmail. The rest were about 10% to 15% were made up domain names. You know, people had their made up ones because these are programmers. So the majority of them have their websites and stuff like this. So they have their own emails domains. And for the most part, yeah, Hotmail was the second at 10% something, and the rest was AOL and Yandex or Yahoo or stuff like these. Okay. Those were the breakdowns. And I think we have relatively quite high open rates and click-through just because we have Gmail, probably. Because when I tested it, the first email we send, it always on Gmail usually lands in inbox, but on Hotmail, it lands on spam. That's how it usually works. I don't know why, but you know, we just stick to it.
Yeah, so here's the deal. So remember, all these guys, Yahoo, so Yahoo and AOL speak to one another because they were purchased by Verizon, right? So, but Hotmail is a beast on its own, right? Exactly, right? So Microsoft is a little different, okay? Yes, there is a way to inbox it, but again, none of these guys speak to one another, right? So when you send an email, yeah, it might inbox in Gmail, but it's not going to inbox in Yahoo, and it's not going to inbox in Hotmail, right? And same deals with the others. Sometimes it'll be easier to inbox Yahoo, right, than it is for anything else. But what you need, because you said, well, I don't think you want so much the opens. You want the opens because you want the buyers.
Exactly.
But the most important thing is you need to see who your buyers are. Because you'd be surprised that maybe your buyers are not the Gmails.
Oh, I see.
Maybe it's the Yahoos. Maybe it's the AOLs. So the whole point, because this is the biggest problem, is that, yes, Gmail is the biggest domain. But just because there's so many people that have a Gmail domain, that doesn't mean that they buy. Like, you notice that Yahoo might buy more, right? And again, dealing with deliverability issues isn't as bad with Yahoo than it is with Gmail. Because Gmail is very engagement focused, right? They're very, very engagement focused, and they're very biased. Whereas Yahoo is very, very, like, they're on pure engagement. They don't have a bias like Gmail does. Gmail, if you don't have that engagement, because read rate with them really matters. If you have these long emails and people are opening them but not clicking, Gmail is not going to prioritize you. Yahoo doesn't care about that. Yahoo is like, okay, people are opening, that's engagement for them. It's good enough. They don't look at read rate yet. But what you need to focus on is if you really want those buyers, you need to look at who it is that's opening, who is it's clicking, and who's actually buying.
Because with Active Campaign, we can actually see how much time people spent on the email and things like these. So, and also with Active Campaign, we can see a lot of things like their IP address, from where they are, when they do open, at the exact time. So we do, the way I did it, I went so savvy on it, so nerdy, like to the point where I'm like, okay, at which hour these people open most, you know? And I'm going like, okay, send it at 8 p.m., their local time and things. I don't really have a general send, like it depends on the customer. And I also seen the movies, for example. I know like for Sunday they're going to be let's say the Avengers movie, so most likely they're not going to be in front of their email, so I must send it after that, and so it goes. So this is the way we've been able to have like relatively quite big numbers for and when I say like we have 5% conversion rates from an email list, a lot of people are like, what? It's quite big, and I'm proud of it, and I do give the benefit to the savvy way and nerdy way we gave it, but I need more. I need to see if there's more we can improve. Yes. You see?
There's absolutely more.
In the emails domain, I meant,
yeah,
you know.
But that's the thing. If I could see the emails, I'd be able to.
That's the thing. Because if you are subscribed to the email list, it doesn't really send us right away. So I didn't bring my computer, which is the thing. But I can tell you exactly the structure. It's the same. We have long text, which is quite, how can I put it into words? Personal, you know. We hit them personally. We hit their desires and we hit their pain, stuff they're afraid of, you know. And the more email we send, after we send, like, let's say, the sales email, then we start pushing on their pain so hard. We're like, okay, imagine yourself 5 years from now. I mean, you're giving $15 for a pizza, for God's sake. You know, so why not invest in this? It's not really that big, that much of money. Imagine, you know, and imagine, we play on imagination and pain. Like, we're like, what do you have to lose? You have to lose nothing.
So, okay, so
You see, that's the way that we structure it.
Yeah, okay.
Just text, links a couple of times, pain at the end. But first we had desire. We play on their greed. That's how we make it.
So keeping that in mind, one thing I always like to get a really great engagement trick, and also great trick for engagement for conversions to get those sales, is following up with an email trigger, like very quickly. So let's just say, yes, you sent out that email, right? Yes. And you've identified the pain point of whatever it is. Like, one of the things I like to do in emails is, because the email is a great place to really start to
You're going into their house, literally.
yeah, but the whole thing is, what you want to do is start testing certain words. Like in my calls to action, right? I'm going to test certain words so that I can start to actually see what the results are. Like, I've done like case studies where I will use the word good versus feel better, right? And the word good will perform better than feel better than whatever that other word is. And then based on let's just say the user's engagement. So let's just say I created that campaign, right, for whatever product it is, right? What I'm going to do is, if you give someone a piece of value, right? So I would consider that email that you sent a piece of value.
Yeah, it is.
Then
Emails are always piece of value.
So what you want to do is, I call it the value offer punch. You give me a piece of value, right? I've shown you that there's a better way to live. Obviously, you've opened and clicked, right? Shows me you're interested. So what do? Is I will send you automatically, within the first 5 minutes that you've clicked on that email, I'm going to send you the offer. Say, okay, you're interested in this? Time to change your life. And then send them directly to to a page, to a sales page. Because I know that you're sending them still directly to the sales page now. In that email, or no? No. Or you're just giving them value?
Here's how it goes. Like, if we are trying to do a launch or something, the first 3 emails, just pure value, you know. We give them pieces of the puzzle, okay? And like, let's say the first day we send an email. The second day we send a follow-up email that's like, why didn't you open the first email, you know? It goes to the people who didn't open it. The third day...
Right there, you never want to send to people who did not engage.
But it did help. We did test it.
No, I understand that, but again, the whole deal with email is, again, understanding its place, right? Understanding its place and how it works. Email is based on email reputation. Like, if you look at your stats, okay, based on what I'm hearing now, like, do you actually have call to action within those 3 emails? Yes. You have calls to, where are those calls to action going?
Going to the page where they have value, the landing page.
Okay, so they're going to a page that has value. Okay, so they're still going somewhere. Okay, but that's what I'm saying is, so that's good. So you always have, in every single email, remember.
We have call of action. That's quite obvious. That's a no-brainer.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's good. So what I'm saying now is, when you give them that piece of value, right? Yes. So again, right, they want to sign up to, I don't know, learn how to shine shoes, right? So you give them an article, this is how you shine shoes, right? Then automatically, what am I going to do? Obviously, I know you want to...
We give them what to do. We're like, okay, this is a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
When you cut for tomorrow, the next email will lead you to another video which will give them...
But again, why are you, again, I'm interested now. I'm not interested tomorrow.
That's the thing. These people are not really interested 100%. You see, we're warming them.
I understand, but you're complicating it. Like, this is, don't complicate it.
So just send direct.
Don't direct. As I mentioned, you gave them a piece of value, right? Yeah. And again, this is testing. There's no perfect, again, strategy is all about understanding your people, right? Yeah. like you're doing things correctly, but it's again, you want to see how it is that you could do better, right?
Okay.
So with this, again, you've sent them a piece of value, right? Again, I've learned how to shine my shoes. Wow, I love that. Now, okay, then you send me an email saying, okay, you've done all this. Now guess what? Here's the package to actually shine your shoes with, right? And when you get it today, you get it 50% off because we love you, right?
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Send it directly. All you have to, that's it. Again, it's not, your job is just to bring them there. Your job is, again, to lead. You can't make the horse drink, right? You're just leading him to water. But the point is, you gave them value. Why are you waiting? I'm interested now. You know that and you know this in marketing. Anytime you put too much time in between something, you have to spend more time convincing them.
Yeah, we give them like 3 days launch. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Because I learned it from Alex Becker.
Oh,
That's the guy I learned it from. Is that a really good mentor or what?
no comment.
Okay.
No
okay.
comment. No comment.
Okay.
No comments. But
Because this is the thing, I'm interested in knowing what other people do, so I can implement it and test it and see the results if there's difference and things like
yeah,
that. This is why I'm here in the first place.
which is perfectly fine, right? There's yes. Okay, so again, right? You have a good base point. Now it's a matter of again optimizing, right? So you're doing it this way. What I'm telling you right now is always use triggers, always, because you're an email. If someone, you have to have that engagement in email. If you don't have that engagement in email, your email reputation is going to drop. Okay, and again, it's not about the sale. The point is getting traffic there.
Yeah.
It's only about getting, you don't, yes, you care about sales ultimately, but your ultimate goal is how do I get them back to that page? That is the most important thing. So that's why in an email, you can manipulate people all you want. Yeah. And the thing is that you have stats, so you don't have to guess. You don't have to guess and say, ooh, am I doing something wrong, right? No, because your unsubscribes and your spam complaints are going to tell you if you're sending too much. Yeah, exactly. Because if your unsubscribe rate is high, then you're like, well, okay, maybe something's wrong here. You're not going to stop the messages. What you're going to do is you're going to say, well, what's wrong with my message? Maybe my brand isn't clear. When I send my emails, maybe, again, when they signed up, it wasn't clear who I was. Because that's another problem too sometimes with people, right? But I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that's your problem. But you know what I'm saying? It's look at the stats. And if you have experience with ads,
Yes.
it's the same deal, right?
Yeah.
The same thing I said before, in terms of, if you're going to test an ad, if you have the option to sending it to 5,000 people first as opposed to 100,000 people, you want to test with those 5,000 people first, right?
Yeah, because you have a large audience, a large portion, you know exactly which one will prevail, and then you go on and optimize and the one that wins.
Exactly.
And so it goes like this. It is
But
a cycle that never ends.
Exactly, right? So that's what you want to do is, you're already doing, like I said, you're doing the value, which is good, but don't wait 3 days.
Okay.
Don't wait, there's no point.
Okay.
If they're interested now, they have a pain. They're interested now, right?
Yeah.
Send them that piece of value, but it's up to you to decide what you want to put that trigger on. Do you want to put it on, like, I'll go sometimes 2 or 3 triggers deep. Like what I'll do first on the first trigger, I'll do it on everyone that opens and clicks. Okay? No, opens or clicks, because you have to be careful with the language, right? And an or, okay? So on the first one, I'll do opens or clicks. This way I get them all, right? So then I'll send an offer. I'll be like, okay, everyone that opened and clicked that one, here's the offer, right?
Yeah.
And then let's just say if they went on that offer, right? They opened, but they didn't click. Then I'll send another one saying, hey, listen, right? You opened, but you didn't, and then you're going to go for a different angle, right? You know that if your first angle didn't work, you're going to go for a different pain point, right?
Exactly.
And you're going to keep digging, digging. And you're going to notice, like, a lot of people don't want to do the triggers because they're afraid. They're going to be like, oh, shit. They're going to they're going to unsubscribe. They're going to complain. Don't worry about that. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. As long as, again, you're sending them, you're identifying with them. Like you said, you're building that relationship.
Yeah,
If you send them an...
That's the whole thing with emails. It's
You're
really-
building.
Because it's different than ads. Ads, you're just like, here's a big fat sale, click on it. That's how it
Exactly.
works. With emails, no. This is the thing that big corporation doesn't do, and that gives us the edge.
Yes.
Make a face to the brand.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
because I'm like, well, for example, some of my emails are like, well, I'm going skiing, you know, I'm going diving, I'm going like that, you know, and when, for example, you promote an event, for example, like this, and people comes up to you, they're like, well, how did the trip go? How did this go? Did that go? They see you something different, you know? That's how it works. That's how I always think about it. This goes for infomercial, and I will take what you've said into account and go and test it. So you're like the triggers, okay? Upsell, quite fast upsell.
Yeah, it's not even upsell, just
Yeah.
the page. Again, like I don't know what you're doing on the sales page, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing you are responsible for in the email
Yeah.
is making sure that you understand what email's place is,
Yeah.
which is it's a display, which you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's just a medium. It's not really, I'm not trying to sell people. I'm trying to make them click
That's
the
it.
link and send them to the landing page. The landing page is quite different.
Yes.
It is another story. There, you've got to convince people to buy something, convert. It depends on what you want to do.
Exactly. But it's
Yeah.
a completely different beast. Like,
Yeah.
don't,
No, they're different. Yeah.
And that's great. It's great that you understand that, right? Because most people don't get that. They'll be like, well, my conversions. What that has nothing to do with it. Because again, so going back to what I originally said was, look at the people that are actually purchasing. Look at those domains. And the other thing too is, I always recommend to people, especially if you're running multiple ads, because remember, okay, your ads, your audiences are all different. All different. The same way like an Apple and Android user. Very different people.
That's the thing. The way we send Androids are quite different than iOS.
It's different.
We really went so deep on this.
No, but all I'm saying is, if you have the ability to, because that's what you want to be able to do, is pass that information.
Even phone numbers, we went so deep that people with emails, we collect their phone numbers, and it's so crazy what we've done.
That's good.
I feel like there's more we can do.
There's always more.
Yeah.
What it comes down to is, again, understanding the audiences and optimizing from what you know.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying is that if you have the ability, like what we do is we'll actually pass the ad information over into our email CRM. So again, you want to know who your buyers are. You want to know who they are. I can say exactly, okay, I know based on this ad that these guys bought, right?
Yeah.
And based on these domains. So when I'm looking to scale now, because your audiences are going to be different, right? Like we've seen this. Like Jesse Elder, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he was a client of mine, and he was having a big problem in terms of deliverability, because he had this one employee that, I don't know, just added a bunch of emails, right? Because he had a small list, and you're like, oh, we have this 30,000 list, he just added it, right? Not knowing anything, and it killed the deliverability. Like we took a whole week to improve it. But the whole point was to start segmenting, to actually show the difference between the audiences. And we had one audience where the exact same email campaign would get like a 40% open rate and like a 20% click-through rate, and the conversions were crazy, like 10% on the sales page. The exact same email going to like a tier 3 type audience, about a fraction of the results. But that just goes to show, because a lot of people will think, oh, it's the copy. It's not the copy always.
I believe it's the marketing. It's the marketing direction you're taking.
It's not it's the audience.
Yes.
It's different types. Again, it's an Android user, right? Remember, you have tier 1 data, tier 2, tier 3. For me, tier 1 is like top of the line buyers. Like I would consider those like iPhone. That's an Apple
I do
user.
segment them,
Yeah, but okay, so that's good.
From buyers to prospects. Prospects are the people who never bought anything.
Okay.
Buyers are the people who bought stuff. And with prospects, at some point, if they don't buy after 3-5 offers, then I take them to another list where it's like just JV, Zoos, CPA. I throw everything at them, because if they're not going to buy at 5 offers, well, just throw stuff at them.
You can, that's a way, but the other thing too is again, it's more about understanding the type of audience. That's my purpose of saying it, right? Is they were interested, but again, they may not buy at the same price points, right? That's the thing, right?
Okay.
So again, like that's why the tiering your audience is important, right? Because just because someone bought a $7 product, right, doesn't mean they're going to buy a $5,000 product, but you can keep selling them smaller products. Like they may be interested in smaller products, because that's why you have to identify your audience and the type that they are, and understand that if you're not getting the engagement rate that you want, it's not always about your copy or whatever. It's about your audience. The same way with your ads, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to start looking at email the same way you would with your ads. The same way you treat your ads, the same way you optimize, the same way you look at them. You want to look at your email the same way. It's like, okay, can we transfer this information? Can we start tracking where the ads are coming from with the domains? Okay, good. Let's do that. So when you're pulling your stats, your email stats, now you can actually see what ad it came from. And you can say, okay, this ad set is giving us really good results. Scale that one. This way, you may not have as big as a list, but you don't care about the size of the list, right?
Yes.
You only care about conversions,
Yes.
quality, conversions, right?
We want quality. That's what I always want.
So that's what you want to start implementing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. So thank you so much. This is quite valuable. The next thing is about a dead email list. And what I mean with dead, the new projects we're working on, and with that I became the head of marketing a while ago, is they have a massive email list. And when I say it's quality, it's top of the line quality. You've got people, this is crazy. What I'm gonna say is quite crazy. You've got people, they're not really, these guys aren't really trying to break even, for example, with the ads, just break even, just get the lead, and then you get the lead and calculate how much money you're losing on it and how much money so you can make profits in like 6 months or a year. Now, these guys get profits, like crazy profits from the first sale. When I saw the numbers and, we were making like $100,000 a month with just the front end offer with like 13 to 30% profit. I was amazed what these guys are doing. And the thing, they don't have any back end. They never sent a single email. And when I saw that, I was like, dude, you're sitting on a gold mine. If you can do these numbers with just a front end. And here's the thing, they're doing this with just Facebook. They're not really going on ads, AdWords or YouTube or, no, this is nuts what you're doing. And as I said, they never sent a single email. So I have this email in front of me, which they have like 25,000 something. As I said, these are quality. It's quality emails. These are all buyers. So I've got to have to re-engage with these people. Okay? So you've got people who have seen the email for like, so it's like 4 months, 5 months. Less than a year. And so what I want to do is just warm them up for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and eventually for Thanksgiving and Christmas and so on, so we can enter the Q1 with a good relationship. Because as you know, Q1, not a lot of people go and buy. With the Q4, people literally go around with a credit card. I want to buy this, buy that. You see, so Q1, you must make it more personal. That's where the email is going to save your ass, So that's how it goes. I want to know exactly how I can re-engage these dead email lists, what approach to take with them. And as I said, keep in mind, they are buyers. A small portion of them, they're just, prospects, but the majority are buyers. And we have the segments. We know exactly which people bought what, and, so I have it well segmented.
So you understand. Okay, so perfect. So step number one is obviously you need to know your email list makeup, because you need to know what you're dealing with, right? Because you need to know, number one, how you're going to approach it. Now, the most important question here is when you're emailing, are you going to be emailing on his behalf with his brand, his name? Yes. Okay, so your life is made much easier because, all right, okay. So the approach of that is going to be really, obviously you don't want to send all 20, you said it's 25,000? 25,000. Okay, so obviously you don't want to do that right off the bat. You don't want to send all 25,000. But again, you don't want to start off small either, because what happens, right? Remember, this is a numbers game, right? If you send to 1,000 people and you get even one complaint, you're shut down, right? Okay. Like Active Campaign is going to shut you down, right? So it's a numbers game. So remember, you still have to look at your unsubscribe, your feedback loops, and all that, right? So first, you want to see who you're dealing with. If your email list is mostly Gmail, you don't really have to worry too much about spam. Right? But you still have to worry about unsubscribes.
That's the thing, because I don't want to have like 5% unsubscribe rates.
No. But again, if these people really do remember the person, like, was it well branded? Like, do they?
They've never sent a single email.
Okay.
Never. The only emails they've sent is, abandonment cards. These are
okay. But is it a well branded, like if I know, like it's Nike?
Yeah,
like what I know.
It is well branded.
Okay, all right. So you don't have an issue with that. So number one, I wouldn't worry too much, but the most important thing you have to make sure is number one, the emails are verified. So you have to verify.
They're all verified. Even when I was switching to the autoresponder to accept campaign, we've had a call and they wanted to verify the source of the emails.
No. I'm not talking about, did you actually put it through a verification to get rid of like something like X-Verify or anything like that, to actually get rid of dead addresses?
No.
So you have to do that. Because what happens, remember, this is an old email list, right? So email lists, remember, they expire, they die, people stop logging in, right? So you have to, because if you send an email and you have more than 3% hard... Yeah, X-Verify, yeah. So that's the first thing you want to do, because if you send an email, right? So if I send an email to 10 people, and let's just say 5 of them are invalid, right? Because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That would be a 50% hard bounce rate. And if Gmail sees that, right? Remember you went on knocking on Gmail's door? Yeah. If Gmail sees that, they're going to be like, no, we don't think you're a good sender. Even though those are your legitimate subscribers, they signed up, they're like, we don't give a shit. 5 people don't actually exist on that list. You harvested that list. We don't care. Yeah. Gmail doesn't know where these people came from. They don't care. They don't care if they signed up. So you have to get that verified first and foremost, okay? You're going to lose people, but who cares? Yeah. It is what it is, right? So number one, you always want to verify, right? Number two, again, like when you start, don't send the entire 25,000, but don't go crazy. I would start with maybe 10,000, because 10,000 is kind of a good number to start with. And at the same time, too, you can split test, right? 5 and 5, do a split test. But remember, keep the email very short, very relevant.
Because I want to be like, well, guys, we didn't email you for less. You didn't hear from us because we had a lot of...
people don't care. Yeah, people don't give a shit about that. People don't care about you. They don't care that you've been busy. They care about you. They care about themselves, right? You're gonna approach them. You're gonna be like.
Here's the thing. The way I'm gonna want to approach them. For example, we have a product that belongs to the kids niche, infants. So I'm gonna be like, okay, hey, subscriber name, thank you so much for and we will be like, okay, we haven't heard from us because we had a lot of business, but we didn't forget about you. I was just reading an article, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna benefit you because these are infants. So I'm gonna lead them to an article about infants and say, I want to give them some kind of value, just to be like, okay, these guys are quite intimate with me.
That's fine.
That's the approach I want to take.
That's fine. If you're like, hey, listen, you haven't heard from us in a while, but we're back. We're here to serve you. We're here to help you. Again, angle it. That's perfect. So again, it's
the approach I want to take. But how about you? How about clients of you? How did you approach this kind of problem?
What do you mean how? But I'm telling.
Re-engaging these
well, the re-engagement is all about understanding your people, right? And being able to have that understanding what you're dealing with, right? Because right now, like, are you actually testing your deliverability? Like, are you seeding? Are you actually testing to see if you're hitting the inbox? Because that's not guaranteed either.
Yeah, we have about 40% open rate.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? You still have to test. Because again, your whole point is you want to see if you can be better. Right now, if you had the ability to spy on all of your ads to see if people were actually looking and whatever, wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, I would.
So why aren't you doing that with your email?
Yes.
You right? That's why you seed, right? Yeah. You have email addresses, right? Yeah. You have different, and you obviously have to treat them differently, right?
Yes.
So for Gmail, like, we always replicate the user, right? Because Gmail is very engagement focused. Gmail is all about, again, right? You may, because what inboxes in you for Gmail is not going to inbox for me, right? So you like Becker, right? So chances are Becker's email inbox all in your Gmail account, and mine they all spam because I don't look at his emails because I don't engage with them, right? So this is why you have to replicate the type of user. You replicate that type of user, and then you seed that account, right? When you sign up, when you send out your campaigns, before you send it out to the masses, right? You're going to send it to yourself, right? See where it's being placed. So now you know for certain, you're like, you don't know 100% for certain if they are going to hit the inbox, but you'll notice that if you send an email campaign, right? Let's just say it spams in Gmail, right? But it inboxes in Yahoo. Then that's going to affect your open rate, right? Maybe your open rate normally is 60%, but the day after it's 40%. That's because it didn't hit Gmail, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So this is why it's not always about your copy. Right? Your approach in your copy is good. I haven't seen it fully, but from what you're telling me, it's good because you're always on the benefit of the user. Exactly. You're tapping the pain point.
I mean,
You're
because here's the thing. It's all about greed and, you know, people want to be famous. People want stuff about them.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to talk about themselves?
exactly.
You
No
know,
one cares about you.
That's the approach I take.
Yeah,
That's always,
which is good. So again, it's about learning everything else that you can optimize.
yes.
Okay.
So as you said, verify the email if they're still, if not the dead emails or closed accounts or things like this.
Yeah.
because, like, it's
It
gonna,
gets rid of them. Yeah, yeah.
it's gonna get rid of them.
It
and
also complainers. So it'll also get rid of complainers, like high risk complainers.
complain.
Yeah.
So people do complain to the.
Oh
source
yeah,
code.
of
Okay,
course.
okay,
Oh yeah, there's complainers, absolutely.
Okay. Good.
But you have a choice. Like when you're scrubbing it, it'll tell you like what, because it'll even get rid of like high fraud people,
Okay.
because they actually like will know like people who do credit card fraud or whatever. They'll know if they're high risk.
No, it doesn't show that.
X-Verify does.
Okay.
X-Verify does.
Okay.
So they will. So it's up to you if you want to email them or not. Like they'll tell you these people are flagged. If you want to email them, go ahead. But you know what I'm saying?
So the next thing you said, send with, you know, just send the portion. First, don't really send
No, no.
all the emails. Just send the portion and see how it will engage. And from them, see what's, you know, as you said, it's better to do a kind of split test. And
Always.
then see which one will win, and then send it to the rest.
Always. Do you split test all of your emails?
I used to do so, and after that, I take the winning one and go through with it. Then do like a quite slight different version with different keywords or things like this, or different trigger words, you know. And I see which one is going to win. Sometimes there is no really big difference, 1% or 2%. So I'm like, yeah, who gives a damn about that? That's how it
You
goes.
should, especially on the clicks. You should.
If it's like 1%, 2%.
Yeah, yes, because your objective is always to get that click, right? So yes, remember, volume matters.
Because usually it's like 10% open rate, 10% click through, and the other one is like 11% click through.
It doesn't matter, but what happens when you increase the volume? If you're sending to 10,000 now to 100,000, where does that 10 and 11 go?
Yeah, gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's what I'm talking about. Is yeah, it might look small when you're doing small volume, but what happens when you go up?
You know, I also test like the titles. I see like this one has 30%, this one 23. Obviously, we're gonna go with the 30%.
There you go.
You know, so these are the two ones. Anything else you would do when you're re-engaging a dead email list?
I pray. That's what I do. I pray. I pray. Because I've done it before. I've done it before where it's like, I did it too with one of my TriStar case studies, and I did that. It was only 1,000-person email list.
Yeah.
You know, it was 400 people I knew were buyers. The other 4 were not buyers. The other 400 were not buyers, and I was.
Got 40% buyers, 60% non-buyers.
And I was trying to get them to buy a $70 product when they had only purchased a $7 product. So that was a big leap.
Especially if he didn't engage with them before.
Oh, it was a year. But it was a year I hadn't engaged. But the TriStar brand, I'm not sure if you guys know TriStar, like MMA, George St. Pierre, like it's big in Canada and the US, right? So I knew that I was like, that's why I was kind of praying. I was like, I did all my due diligence. I put it through X-Verify, right? I only had 1,000 people, so I had to send to the full list. But I was like kind of prepared. I told my buddy, I was like, listen, you might get shut down, you know, we're gonna try it. If it works, it's great.
Yeah.
And I literally, when I sent it, I was like, ugh, fingers crossed. And I was so prepared to like wake up the next morning and be shut down. And I was like, not a single complaint. I was like, I have been in email for 13 years.
Yeah.
In my 13 years, I have never seen sending an email with 0 complaints after 1 year. That's to show when you have a powerful brand, when people love you that much and you've tapped into that point. Because when I tapped into that point, that's exactly what I did. I was like, listen, you love TriStar, you love this, be a part of us, be whatever, right? Really tapping into them, into that whole community, and it worked.
This is a physical product.
Yeah.
And the brand is still relatively young brand. It's like a few months young, you know. It's
Okay.
like a few months old. It's about a year, let's say. So not a lot of people know about it.
It doesn't matter. Again, like you said, it comes down to how you.
Websites, how professional it looks, or what?
No, it's not even. It has nothing. Again, like you said, it comes down to the person. People don't care about brands.
Okay.
People don't. Again, unless you're Nike,
Okay.
you know, where it's like you have this cult following or whatever, then people care. But when you're starting to build something, like don't make assumptions. Like the biggest mistake you'll ever do in email
Making assumptions.
is all these assumptions you're making because you do them, right?
Yeah.
You're like, well, no, don't. if we lived in a world where, you know, consumers were all like me, you know, we may not have e-commerce, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
it wouldn't work. So don't ever do that. What you need to do is rely on the numbers. As long as you know what email's job is, how it works, the deliverability, are you hitting the inbox, you know your stats, okay, we know everything, we're good to go. Now you know what part of the puzzle it needs fixing, right? So you know your deliverability is good, right? You know your copy is good. You know your different types of tier data, right? Because remember, you have to identify your data now.
The only thing I said that would be quite annoying is they've never been emailed before. You see?
Again, who
So
cares?
it doesn't really have a big impact.
Do you actually, when you open up your email, do you look at this and say, oh, wait a minute, I haven't received an email from you for a year, so. There you go. So you brought in your like, who cares?
Okay, perfect.
Like, again, you're assuming.
So the thing is, I'm gonna take it as a starting point to build a relationship with them from there.
Yeah, like I said, just keep your fingers crossed, pray. Like I said, do all that because you would have done all your due diligence. Once you do all that, then like I said, you're in the right framework, you know what you're dealing with, you pray, if something happens, you're like, listen, I did everything we could, right? Now you know, like, you pray to God you don't get shut down. If you don't, then you add the other 10,000.
I mean, one time we had like 4% unsubscribe rates.
Who cares about the unsubscribe?
We had like one complaint maybe in like 10,000 emails.
That's,
so it wasn't really
the only time an ESP is going to shut you down is if you have an unsubscribe rate over than 10%, 20% actually.
Jesus Christ.
You know?
You suck at doing emails.
Exactly. But at 4%, I wouldn't be worried. Like 4%, you're still good.
Okay, perfect.
What you need to be worried about are spam complaints.
Perfect.
Because an active campaign, if you get more than 2 or 3 spam complaints, you're done. They'll cut you down.
Perfect.
So that's why the X-Verify will get rid of those spam complaints. They'll get rid of those hard bounces. Because if you have over 3% hard bounce, which is invalid email addresses, again, the Gmails of the world are going to say, we don't like you.
Okay.
You came into our house with dirty shoes. We don't want that, right? Get out, right? So that's what you really, really want to focus
so
on.
Let's say you're in position. Sorry, I'm taking a lot of your time.
It's okay. No. Does anyone else have questions, by the way? Everyone else is good? No questions? Yes.
I have an experience about sending emails in inbox.
Yes.
A lot of people suffer from getting their message in spam.
Yes.
Or they don't check their IP address and their landing page.
Uh-huh.
After sending the emails, you should check your IPs if it blacklisted or not.
Correct.
After I use a service VPN. It's called VIP72.
Uh-huh.
So I add a clean proxy.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I started again the message. And I got the unbox, the same letter and the same type.
Yeah.
And I use also RTP. If I get blacklisted from Google robots or Hotmail robots or something like that, I use RTPs and I get again
Yeah.
message in the inbox.
Yeah. So again, that's a very third-party mentality. Like I came from the affiliate world. Like we used to do that when we had to get emails out because we had to make money, right? But that's not a sustainable. Like unless you want to keep going round and round in circles, you're gonna have to keep doing that. The whole point is you shouldn't have to change IP all the time. You shouldn't have to do that. Like if you have the ability to change your IP, that's great, right? Like when I was doing affiliate, I had the same 5 IPs for 5 years. That's it, because I built my reputation, right? So yes, you always want to pay attention to your headers. That's why when you're looking at your headers, you want to look at your IPs. But not everyone has the ability to switch their IPs. Like Clavio a couple of weeks ago, right? I showed they were on Spam House, right? If I was that sender and I noticed like I was on Spam House, I would have went to Clavio and said, change my IP right now. You guys are listed, change me. And they would have to switch me. But most people don't know that. So it's good that you're looking at the IP, you're identifying, and if you have the ability to switch it. But the most important part that you have to realize is that if you're having to do that, because if you're switching, right, then that means you're always segmenting. So you're doing more, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of sending one message to your entire list, you have to send one message to Hotmail, one to Gmail, one to whatever, right? That's 4 times the work. Granted, it may be profitable for you, it might be worth that extra time, but again, what you want is, you want something easy, right? So, but that works. That always works. So it's good that you're looking at that. So it's definitely a solution, but it's a short term. It's still very good. Okay? Does anyone have? Yes. So that's a good question. When it comes to, you have to be very careful with segmentation. Segmentation is good, but if you don't do it properly, you'll get stuck in this like horse blind or tunnel vision, okay? Because it's good to understand your people and segment them, but you don't want to always put them in a box. Because just because they responded in one thing, doesn't mean they won't respond to something else. Remember, your job is to be able to sell, right? To be able to identify what your user and sell. So it's good that I typically will always tag users, right? I'll tag them based on certain things, right? Will I go as deep as age? Depending on what it is that I'm doing. But I do it more based on values and interests. Because age doesn't really matter. It matters in the life stage of where they are in terms of maybe mentality. But it's good that you're thinking about that, but try to use tags instead of pure segmentation, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay.
Well, the thing is, imagine yourself in my place, okay? You've got quite a relatively nice email list. So you've got to have to engage them for the last, the second, the final half of Q4. So this is the approach. I'm thinking about emailing them about Thanksgiving or about Black Friday. I'm not even addressing the fact that we didn't email them for a while. Just be like, here's a big fat sale. Take it. And after that, having Q1 of 2020, then we're gonna make it more personal on things like these. So this is my approach. How would like to do it? This way or have something else in mind?
As I mentioned, there's no crystal ball, right? You have to test everything. As I mentioned, the most important thing is that at the end of the day is split test. And you have the ability to split test, right? Because you have enough volume, right? So it's not like you don't have the volume to do it. And you can change your approach if you want.
So
like
split
that's
testing
the
between
beauty.
these approaches.
Of course you can.
Which approach you would choose? Because I want to take one of
But
your approaches and
just-
run with this and see how it will go.
Well, I gave you the framework in terms of, but that's, so what I did basically, even on the TriStar one, we didn't give them a sale. We didn't give them anything. Actually, we did give them like a 2-for-1 kind of discount sale, like an offer.
So
But
it is just a big fat sale.
but even at that, again, it was just a sale. It was, listen, we know you love TriStar. We know you love these guys. If you want to look like us, you want to be like us, buy our shit, type of thing. Yeah, it's a physical product, but at the same time, it's the same deal.
Okay, perfect.
Right? Yeah, perfect. But all you can do is, like I said, just change your strategy. Like you have the ability, that's a great thing with emails. You have the ability to do whatever it is that you want. Perfect. Switch your angles, change your angles, split the data however which way you want. Split test the times of day. Like, I know you're already split testing, but you know what I'm saying? Like, be more aggressive with that. Okay. If you're always sending emails if you're sending emails at night, switch it up. Send it early in the morning. Send it in the afternoon. Switch them. And you'll notice that you'll be like, oh, shit, like different times, even different days. Okay, Sunday nights are the best times.
Sunday and Monday usually is good.
Sunday is the best day of the week to sell. Okay. People don't get it. Everyone thinks that, no, what do you think people?
I've tested it and it is quite
It's the best day.
Monday morning, Sunday night, it's always good.
Yeah. Thursday, I'll tell you this, Thursday and Fridays are the worst sales days. The worst sales days. But again, it's all based on your audience. But that's why don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't say, well, okay, we've tested and it worked. You don't know. You might have different audiences in there that might respond differently. So it's good that you identified that, but now you're like, okay, how do we make it better, right? Let's try instead of Sunday morning, Sunday night instead, right? And switch it up that way. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. That's pretty much.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Good. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, we do this and this. You go to our website or to our Facebook page and contact us. You can get the course now.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Okay.
like what would you do in my position?
Sure. Okay. So based on what you're telling me, it sounds like your emails would be very ego based because you just said, we talk about me and my firm. No one cares about you, right? And I'm saying that just to, again, right? No one cares about you. They only care about what it is that you can do for them, right? So if you can remind them why they came to you, do you have the information as to why they came to you? Why were they trying to improve their life? Why were they trying to learn about this, financing, whatever, right? And there's not that many reasons, right? There's usually just 3 top reasons. They're trying to improve their life because they want a better future for their family, right? Or they want a better career, right?
Yeah, it's basically to teach them how to get like a second income, like
Okay, but they want a second income for a reason, right?
Yeah,
They
for a
either
better
want to get out
life
of
or
their
whatever.
current situation,
Yeah.
or they're trying to maybe get a nest. That's what you need to tap into. You need to identify that to say,
Okay.
again, yeah, they want to improve, but you need to go to the why are they trying to improve.
Okay.
So that's what that first email has to be about that.
Okay.
Is this is how you get away from your, this is how you get the life of your dreams, right? Or you want to retire quicker.
Okay.
This is the reason why, right?
Okay, okay.
And that's the pain point that you really want to dig into in terms of saying, okay, you haven't heard from us in a while, right? Great, but we're back here to give you this, right? We know that we know that you want to improve that. And the whole point is to always get that yes confirmation statement.
Okay.
Right? So part of the email Maverick framework again is always getting people to say yes. But yes statements to that you know they're going to say yes to.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
say you want this program. Because again,
Yeah, yeah.
you're giving someone an opportunity to say no. But if you give someone an opportunity to say, "Do you want to retire tomorrow?" Who's not going to say yes to that?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to say, "Yeah, of course I want to retire tomorrow," right? So that's the angle you want to go for. You want to go for always think, how do I get this person to say yes?
Okay.
Guaranteed yes.
Okay.
Like a lawyer. Like a lawyer will never ask a question they don't know an answer to.
Okay.
So that's what you want to do is keep it short, right? You want to keep it very short and you want to get the user back to the landing page, but make sure in that email that identifies clearly what the pain and desire, not the feature, because right now you're tapping into the feature. No one cares about the feature.
Okay.
You're not going to get nearly as much engagement.
Okay.
And just keep tapping into why they need this, why they signed up,
Yeah, yeah.
why they want a better life, why they want a second income. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Thanks. Anything else? Does that answer? Or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you very
perfect.
much. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions? We got 10 minutes left, guys. 10 minutes. Nothing? Yes? The microphone. Oh, where's the microphone? Oh, I think it's here.
My question is about like what's your practices when it comes to the tools that you're using
Okay.
to collect emails, like the one that you recommend for like normal like business, like not advanced, but just like a regular email list.
You're talking about email service providers?
Yeah.
Like MailChimps and things like that?
Yeah, or like plugins, like to collect or like design, or also like how many times you have to use like to put links in the email. Like, is it like you have to put it like in a way that it should not be like apparently like to look like it's a real like direct link, or you just put it like as a native thing
Okay, so yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, so one of it's too bad I don't have an example of it. You'll see a lot of this happens a lot in the internet marketing niche. I don't know why it happens, but if you wouldn't do it in an ad, like see how sometimes they'll have the entire link in the email. You don't want to do that, right? Again, you always want clear calls to action, right? But when it comes to tools like for email, the only tools you're going to really have is you'll have things that will maybe check your email deliverability. You'll have tools for. But anything else in terms of that will monitor, right? So they will monitor your links to see if it's listed anywhere. Because your links will get you listed. They'll get you blacklisted, they'll get you flagged, and even cookies too. Because let's just say you're sending in redirects, right? You know how when you have a link, it can redirect 5 times. There could be something in there that's flagging. So something like Send Forensics or Return Path, right? Those are paid tools that you can get that will monitor your entire I wouldn't say sequence flow, but will monitor your links and your reputation, your IP address, your domain, all that stuff. It'll do it for you. Does that answer your question a little bit? Yeah? Okay. Does anyone have any other questions? No? All right, guys. I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much again for attending. I really appreciate it. Thank you.